Hi, my name is jELeeoo, also known as Johann Birch. I'm the author of 2 books, What's Your Problem? And Hold On a Minute, just released, now available on Amazon, although this is the proof copy because honestly I'm filming this before the book even came out. Who said that? And these are 10 books that inspired me. Now, when I say they inspired me, I mean when I think about a good book, I think about these, and when I think about how to play with words in my books, I think about these. So let's get started. Side note, I know it looks like I have a unibrow in this video. It's because the light from my laptop is causing the shadow of my glasses to go right into my brow ridge, and it's really pissing me off, and it looks like I have a unibrow in this video, and I am conscious of how I look, believe it or not. It sucks. Numbers 1 through 3 is the Henry Chinaski trilogy by Charles Bukowski. Sort of. The Henry Chinaski trilogy consists of Ham on Rye, Post Office, and Women. Although, gonna be real, not that big a fan of Women, the book, not the people. And I think that Factotum by Charles Bukowski should have been the second in the trilogy, and Post Office should have been the third. These 3 books detail the life of Henry Chinaski, which is basically just another name for Charles Bukowski, the author. Ham on Rye is all about his childhood. Factotum is about him wandering the streets of America during World War II as he's looking for a job. And Post Office is about his 12 years working at a post office. Now, Ham on Rye is my favorite of all of Bukowski's books. It's just like the most consistently good. But the main reason it is so good and inspiring to me is how simplistic it is. The wording, the prose, it all gives you information in a very concise, not at all complicated manner. It is very easy to read and understand. There's none of that using big words. There's none of that vague, ambiguous stuff. It just tells you how it is. And that's also something I want to talk about. A huge theme of these books are just that life is a real cruel mistress, and it is what it is. Bukowski has never really been one to pull his punches. He always is he's very brutally honest in his work, which has led to some controversy because he has said some stuff that is just straight up not okay. But something that a lot of people appreciate is that he's not afraid to just tell you the brutal honesty of life as a whole, and that he just sees through the bullshit of life. And that's something I very much appreciate. But also, one last thing, these books are really funny. He is without a doubt the most humorous author I've read. I think Post Office is his most humorous novel. And yeah, they're really funny books. There have been times where I've read a Bukowski book and I have out loud laughed. I can't really say the same for any of these other books right here. But anyways, yeah, that was 1 through 3, being Ham on Rye, Factotum, and Post Office. Good books. Number 4, Stoner by John Williams. Oh my god, this book is so good. This book is so good. This book is amazing. This book, it's a very eye-opening experience. It's just so good. It's so good. Now, I would love to recommend the Bukowski books, but I definitely know that they're not for everyone. I definitely think everyone watching this video should read this book, if you haven't. If there's one thing you walk away with from this video, it's that you should read this book right here, Stoner by John Williams. This book details the life of a man named William Stoner from age 18 to all the way to his death. And he works as an English professor at a university. And yeah, it's about his life. Now, one of the main reasons it's so inspiring to me is specifically the way it words itself. Most of these are going to have to do with prose and wording. But this one specifically is so good. It's told in third-person perspective, but it explains the life of these people, the many characters in this book, so matter-of-factly, but it gets in their heads so well that there are times where you think it's a first-person book. That is how good it is. I can't name you another book that does that. And also, anytime a major event happens, it tells it from a very far perspective, a very disconnected perspective, as if to just be unemotional, apathetic, and just to say, That's life. The life of William Stoner, there are a lot of good things that happen and a lot of bad things that happen, but every time something happens, the third person perspective adds no emotion to it, but it's just conveyed in a way that just says, that's life, that's how it is, that's how it goes. And it's in less of a cynical way compared to Bukowski books, because again, there's like meant to be no emotion, but when it will then explain things unemotionally, but then you'll get to hear the thoughts of the character going through it, and all of a sudden, you really root for Stoner in this book. And it's strange, because the book literally, the first paragraph of the book is literally talking about how boring this guy is. Let me read the first paragraph. William Stoner entered the University of Missouri as a freshman in the year 1910 at age of 19. 8 years later, during the height of World War I, he received his Doctor of Philosophy degree and accepted an instructorship at the same university, where he taught until his death in 1956. He did not rise above the rank of assistant professor, and few students remember him with any sharpness after they had taken his courses. When he died, his colleagues made a memorial contribution of a medieval manuscript to the university library. This manuscript may still be found in the rare books collection bearing the inscription, presented to the Library of the University of Missouri in memory of William Stoner, Department of English by his colleagues. Continued on. Merely a sound which evokes no sense of the past and no identity to which they can associate themselves or their careers. It tells you that. It tells you that this guy lived and died a very slow, boring life. The book is slow and boring, and yet it is so compelling. And also the themes that you see later on in William Stoner's life, past the halfway point of the book, really just get to you. Good book. 10 out of 10. I'd say that's like my second favorite book of all time. Would recommend. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 is another trilogy of books, and this is the Steal Like an Artist trilogy by Austin Kleon. I just have the hic. Oh, God. These books consist of Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going. These are all nonfiction books. They're all like 10 steps to be creative, 10 steps to get your work discovered, 10 steps to stay creative. So there's not much about like narrative or plot or being like super compelling that I'm going to talk about. Instead, I'm mostly just going to talk about how it's formatted. Now, this applies to all the books, but I'm just going to be using Steal Like an Artist as the main example because I don't want to flip through any of the other books. But the way it's formatted, like here's chapter 1, huge spread for that page. And then you flip the page, you get a little diagram on this page, the title of the section of the chapter, and then the actual text. And it continues, and there's a quote here. And the way it's all formatted is very inspiring. I think that every nonfiction book should be at least a little formatted like this in terms of like, when it comes to nonfiction books, and especially specifically ones that are like how-tos or like guides or just not like talking about a person, but more an idea, I feel like there should be many drawings and graphs to go along with it. I may like reading, but I am a very visual person. I've always been a visual person. I've always struggled in keeping material in school, like keeping it in here, if there was no like visual guide to go along with it. Steal Like an Artist, for example, talks about like using something from like a movie as like inspiration, you know, like Mr. Robot, for example, was inspired by Fight Club, but it's not outright stealing it. And there's a graph here talking about good theft versus bad theft, and this is a very good visual guide. There's good advice here as well. Write the book you want to read, and write what you like instead of write what you know. Which, I mean, don't take that at surface level, actually. Read what this guy has to say, actually, first. But, instead of, like, being constricted to only what you know, you should expand your ideas into just something you like, instead of, like, having to feel that pressure of being, not fitting in. I don't know how to explain it. Also, there's pictures, not just drawings, but like full on like photography in this book. And again, I think the visual guides. The main thing that inspires me from these books is the visual guides. Oh, but that being said, at the end of these books, there's a section called What Now? And there's like a little checklist that tells you to like practice some of the things you've learned in the book. And it all ends with give a copy of this book away, which I think is very sound advice. I haven't given my copy away, but I've let people borrow it. And then the next page is literally recommended reading, which is like, I assume books that inspired this book or just books that the author may like really, really like. But yeah, really good. Would recommend. And yeah. Also, there's a section on the back to make little doodles. I feel every book should have a few blank pages on the back so you can write down stuff. But honestly, personally, I feel like Steal Like an Artist was the least helpful just because there was a lot of stuff I already knew. And that Keep Going was actually the most helpful because it was for how to stay creative. You know, if you're ever in like a writer's block or anything like that. All right. Number 8? Yeah, number 8. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charles Mackesy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Maxey.
He's an English bloke. This is a children's book. This is just a picture book. It was made into an animated short film that won Best Animated Short in the 2023 Academy Awards. I thought the short film was okay, but I liked the book a lot more, specifically because there's like this little introductory page right here that says, this book has no timeline. And that's the main thing about it that inspires me. You could flip to literally any page on this book. I just flipped to a completely random one. And you were supposed to be told just a fun little story within the bigger story, if that makes sense. Like, there's no specific order to this book. Flip to any page, you'll find like some like story, its own self-contained story, if that makes sense. Like here, you got a fun little drawing and a little lesson. "We don't know about tomorrow," said the horse. "All we need to know is that we love each other." It's just meant to be like a little something to learn, you know? And granted, yes, they are very like childish messages, but it's still nice. It's uplifting. The art is really good. I love the art. And it's fun and I like it. Like, honestly, I have nothing else to say. Also, this book is short, alright? You can read it in, like, an hour. Also, it makes me feel good. It warms my cold little heart, okay? Good book. Would recommend. Especially to children. But yeah, the main thing that inspires it is that, like, each page is its own, like, self-contained story, the art, and also just, like, you know, every page is its own little lesson or just, like, a cool little drawing. Alright, number 9. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. If you've heard of this book, then you already know what I'm going to say. Actually, I'm not even done reading this book. I'm on page 502 of like 530. But if you know this book, you know what I'm going to say. I will now be showing you a page from House of Leaves, and I will just let it speak for itself. See, that text is all weird. It's all flipped around. So there's like a few plots going on in House of Leaves, but the main plot is that a family moves into a house. The house is bigger on the inside, and it like just gets this hallway one day, and that hallway just keeps growing into like a labyrinth. And that specific page I showed you, one of the characters like put a hole through the wall in one of the hallways of that labyrinth, and the page is meant to like reflect that. You know, there's a footnote within this little square. And if you flip the page, the text is like mirrored. So like it'd be like you're looking through both sides, seeing that footnote. And then the footnote continues on in this little square, and so on and so forth. It's meant to represent the wild nature of the house, the labyrinth, the hallways. My bookmark fell out. Fuck. Also, there's very heavy use of footnotes in very humorous ways as well. So there are 3 people leaving footnotes in this book. The author of the book, the person who found the book, and the editors of the book. And they're all, like, leaving various footnotes, you know? And the footnotes can be very humorous. Like, one of the footnotes gives an information. The guy who found the book leaves a footnote saying, that information is wrong, it's actually this. And then the editors will leave a footnote being like, actually, he's wrong. There's there's a sentence denoted by, like, saying, hey, there's a footnote for this. And it takes, like, 7 pages to get to the footnote. And that footnote is, like, talks about like just being led on a wild goose chase, which may happen to that sentence, because if you see the thing, like, where's this footnote, and it's way later on. And then throughout the entire rest of the book, there'll be sentences leading back to that one footnote talking about just going in circles on a wild goose chase, which is really funny. Like another example, this is a page where in this page, a character is like climbing a huge part of the labyrinth, and like it's meant to represent that. You see, it keeps going up and up like the characters climb. He finds a small little narrow door, so we got the text in the shape of a door. Very fun. It's a fun book. That's how it inspires me. Also, it doesn't hurt that the narrative is also pretty fun. You know, I'm interested to learn more, although I'm almost done with it, so I don't. There's not much more to learn. Hey, this is post-recording me. I have now finished House of Leaves, and I'm here to say that, personally, without spoiling it, I think the ending fucking sucks. It's so boring. The last 3 chapters were a slog to get through, and, yeah, fucking... whatever, at least the rest of the book is pretty okay. Also, once you finish the book, there's a huge appendix. It's like 200 pages of appendix work. And the book will constantly be like, hey, if you want to learn more, go to the appendix. And I usually do that. I put my bookmark in the page and I flip to the appendix. And that's very fun to get sidetracked by that. This book just whips you around all over the place. I have hiccups again. All right, number 10 is a book that I haven't even read. Anyways, number 10 is a book I haven't even read. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I haven't read this book, but I'm going to soon. Probably after I finish House of Leaves and Butcher's Crossing. It's all I know is that it's a fun, quaint little fantasy tale. But the main reason it inspires me is because I've skimmed through a few pages, and the wording is so pleasant and playful. It's simple, again, like Bukowski, it's simple, but tells you how it is, but in a much more bright and playful way. And also, again, there's little drawings in the book. I like that. All right, yeah. Good book, maybe? I don't know. Haven't read it yet, but still serves as an inspiration. But you also want to know a book that inspires me? What's Your Problem by Johann Birch. Pretty good book. I've read it before. Multiple times, actually. Would recommend. Would buy it right now. Along with Hold On a Minute, a collection of short stories and poems by Johann Birch. I've read through this one a few times as well. Pretty good. This one also has art in it. Let me find like a good drawing. This one also has art in it that I really like. So yeah, there's a lot of short stories. Some are really funny, like The Utility Man or 2 a.m. at the local gas station. Some are not funny, like Tough. Oh my god, Tough. And then there's poetry. My poetry exists. I'm not that big on my poetry, I'm gonna be real. But still, good, would recommend buying because it's cool and on Amazon, available for you right now. Woohoo! Anyway, yeah, that was that. Thank you for watching. I will now be going back to my planet. My people need me. Remember to buy my books on Amazon. Remember to like and subscribe. Share this video around. Actually, you know, you may not have to do any of that, but at least leave a comment. You know what? Not for me, for you. Just for you. All right. Anyways, yeah, that was it. Check your bank accounts because they should be drained. All of your girlfriends are now longing for me, and yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was the video. Bye bye. See you later. I'm sleepy now. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm an old man.